Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to welcome you all today. Today, we're going to explore a very important topic in pharmaceutical manufacturing. The title of our presentation is Why Batches Fail in Pharma Manufacturing. And in this session, we'll look into the common reasons behind batch failures and discuss ways to prevent them. So let's get started and understand what impacts the success of our manufacturing processes. So what exactly is a batch failure? In the context of GMP, or good manufacturing practices, a batch failure occurs when the product doesn't meet the predefined quality specifications. This can happen for several reasons, such as out-of-specification results, which are measurements that fall outside the acceptable range, or out-of-trend results that indicate a deviation from the expected process behavior. Additionally, any deviations from the established process parameters can also lead to a batch failure. When a batch fails, it can result in various actions like rejecting the entire batch, reprocessing or reworking it to bring it up to standard, or initiating an investigation, which often leads to CAPA, corrective and preventive actions. The consequences of a batch failure are significant. They include financial losses, because products can't be sold or used, regulatory actions from authorities concerned about product quality, and disruptions in the supply chain that can affect patients and customers. In the pharmaceutical industry, the failure rate is typically around 2 to 5%, although this can vary depending on how complex the process is. Overall, understanding what constitutes a batch failure helps us identify risks early and maintain the highest quality standards throughout manufacturing. Now, let's take a closer look at the major categories of batch failures. First, we have raw material issues. These can include problems like contamination, variability, or incorrect specifications, which can all directly impact the quality of the final product. Next, process variability plays a big role. Things like fluctuations in temperature, pH, or mixing times that can cause inconsistencies during production. Equipment failures are another critical factor. Malfunctioning or poorly maintained machinery can halt processes or lead to defects. Human errors also contribute significantly. Mistakes in measurement, handling, or procedure adherence can introduce variability or contamination. Environmental factors, such as humidity, temperature, or air quality, can also influence batch outcomes, especially in sensitive processes. Lastly, analytical or testing errors can give false results, leading to incorrect batch rejection or acceptance. What's important to remember here is that most failures are multifactorial. It's rarely just one cause. Instead, a combination of these factors often contributes to a batch failure. Recognizing this interconnectedness helps us develop better strategies for prevention and control, aligning with our overall goal of ensuring consistent quality in our manufacturing processes. When we look at process design and scale-up issues, one of the main challenges is the mismatch that often occurs when moving from lab scale to commercial scale production. This can lead to unexpected problems because processes don't always translate perfectly as you scale up. Additionally, a lot of these issues stem from an inadequate understanding of the process itself. Without a clear grasp of how everything interacts, scale-up becomes riskier. Another key point is the nonlinear effects that happen during scale-up, which means that small changes at lab scale can become much more significant at larger volumes. This is why it's so important to have a robust design of experiments, or DOE, in place. Without it, you miss out on systematically exploring the variables that influence your process. Many failures in manufacturing occur during technology transfer, highlighting how critical it is to thoroughly understand and control the process before scaling. Now, moving on to raw material variability. This is a big concern. For example, API or excipient inconsistencies, like variations in particle size distribution, or PSD, can have a huge impact. Changes in particle size can affect how the drug dissolves, which directly influences bioavailability. Polymorphic changes are another issue. Different crystal forms of the same compound can drastically alter properties like stability and solubility. Moisture content variability also plays a role. as moisture can affect both process performance and the final product quality. Supplier-related issues are equally important. Impurities and contamination introduced by raw material suppliers can compromise product quality and safety. All these factors, whether process-related or material-related, can lead to serious impacts, such as dissolution failure or problems with content uniformity. Both of these issues can undermine the efficacy and safety of the final product, making it essential to proactively manage these risks throughout development and manufacturing. Now, let's turn our attention to equipment-related failures. These are common issues that can significantly impact our processes. For example, calibration drift occurs when equipment measurements become inaccurate over time, leading to inconsistent results. Equipment malfunction or wear can cause unexpected downtime or variability, which can be costly and time-consuming to troubleshoot. Poor maintenance is often a root cause of these issues, so regular upkeep is essential to prevent failures. To illustrate, a variation in the compression machine can lead to differences in tablet weight, affecting product quality. Similarly, if the dryer malfunctions, it can cause moisture imbalances that compromise the stability and safety of the final product. In addition to equipment issues, process parameter deviations are another critical factor. These are the settings we control during manufacturing, like temperature, pressure, mixing speed, and granulation time. Even small deviations in these parameters can have a disproportionately large impact on the critical quality attributes, or CQAs, of our product. This underscores the importance of process robustness. When our processes lack robustness, the risk of failures increases significantly, potentially leading to batch rejections or product recalls. So, ensuring equipment reliability and tightly controlling process parameters are key to maintaining high-quality manufacturing standards. Now, let's take a closer look at some of the common errors that can occur in analytical and quality control processes. First, instrument calibration errors can happen if equipment isn't properly calibrated, leading to inaccurate results. Method variability is another factor. Different operators or slight changes in technique can introduce inconsistencies. Sample preparation errors are also a concern. If samples aren't prepared correctly, the entire analysis can be compromised. Data handling mistakes, such as misrecorded or misinterpreted data, can further skew results. All of these issues can sometimes lead to false out-of-specification, or OOS, results, which might cause unnecessary batch rejections. Moving on to human errors, which are actually the most common cause of deviations. Incorrect batch record entries, for example, can result in significant issues if data isn't accurately documented. Improper sampling techniques can introduce bias or errors right from the start. Noncompliance with standard operating procedures, or SOPs, can also lead to inconsistent results. Poor training of personnel is another critical factor. Without proper training, mistakes are more likely. Additionally, data integrity issues, such as tampered or lost data, threaten the reliability of the entire process. Overall, human errors contribute to approximately 30 to 40% of deviations we see in QC, highlighting how vital it is to focus on proper training, adherence to SOPs, and robust data management to minimize these risks. These errors can impact the integrity of our results and the efficiency of our operations, so understanding and addressing them is key in maintaining high-quality standards across our processes. Let's talk about some of the critical issues related to documentation and compliance failures. First, incomplete batch manufacturing records, or BMRs, can create serious gaps in traceability and accountability. When these records are missing or incomplete, it becomes difficult to verify that manufacturing processes were followed correctly. Next, we have data integrity violations, often summarized as ALCOA+. This means that data isn't being properly recorded, maintained, or verified, which can undermine the entire quality system. It's essential for data to be accurate, consistent, and reliable at all times. Audit findings are another key point. When audits uncover deficiencies, they can lead to batch rejection, halting production, and delaying product release. These findings highlight areas where our compliance needs to be strengthened. Now, all these issues pose regulatory risks. For instance, regulators may issue warning letters, which are formal notices that serious compliance issues exist. In extreme cases, these issues can lead to product recalls, which are costly, time-consuming, and can damage our reputation. Connecting this to the overall theme, ensuring proper documentation and strict compliance isn't just about meeting regulations. It's about safeguarding product quality, protecting consumers, and maintaining trust in our brand. Now, let's take a look at some of the key tools used in root cause analysis. First up is the fishbone diagram, also known as the Ishikawa diagram. This tool helps us visually map out all possible causes of a problem, organizing them into categories like people, processes, equipment, and materials. It's a great way to see where the underlying issues might be hiding. Next, we have the 5 whys analysis. This is a simple yet powerful technique where you keep asking why 5 times or until you reach the core cause of the problem. It encourages us to dig deep, moving beyond surface symptoms to uncover what's really driving the issue. Then there's failure mode and effects analysis, or FMEA. This method involves systematically evaluating potential failure modes within a process, understanding their causes and effects. It allows us to prioritize risks based on their severity, likelihood, and detectability, guiding us to focus on the most critical issues first. We also use statistical process control, or SPC, which applies statistical methods to monitor and control a process. It helps us identify when a process is going out of control, so we can intervene before defects occur, ensuring consistent quality. Overall, these tools are focused on identifying the true root cause, not just the symptoms. This is crucial because solving the wrong problem won't lead to lasting improvement, especially when our goal is to enhance overall quality and efficiency. Remember, the aim is to get to the real source of the issue so we can implement effective, sustainable solutions. Now, let's take a closer look at some of the key prevention strategies we can implement to enhance our process control. First, Process Analytical Technology, or PAT, plays a crucial role by enabling real-time monitoring of critical process parameters. This helps us catch any deviations early and ensure consistent quality throughout production. Speaking of real-time data, implementing real-time monitoring systems allows us to continuously track process performance, reducing the risk of errors and increasing efficiency. These systems give us immediate insights, so we can make informed decisions on the fly. Robust Standard Operating Procedures, or SOPs, combined with comprehensive training programs, are essential for maintaining consistency. Well-trained staff following clear procedures are our first line of defense against variability. Supplier qualification and audits are equally important. By thoroughly vetting our suppliers and regularly auditing their processes, we can ensure the raw materials meet our quality standards, which directly impacts the final product. Automation and digital batch records further strengthen our control. Automating data collection minimizes human error, and digital records provide a transparent, easily accessible trail for review and compliance purposes. Finally, continuous process verification, or CPV, involves ongoing validation of our processes during production, rather than just at set points. This continuous oversight helps us maintain process stability and quickly address any emerging issues. Together, these strategies form a comprehensive approach to prevention, aligning with our overall goal of producing safe, high-quality products consistently. Let's take a moment to summarize what we've discussed about batch failures in pharmaceutical manufacturing. Essentially, these failures happen when a product doesn't meet the pre-established quality standards. But what's important to understand is that they're usually caused by a combination of factors, not just a single issue. The most common causes include variability in raw materials, deviations in process parameters, equipment malfunctions, human errors, environmental conditions, and inaccuracies in testing or analysis. Among these, human errors and process variability tend to be the leading contributors. These often stem from inadequate training, poor process control, or a lack of robustness when scaling up production. It's also worth noting that documentation issues and regulatory noncompliance can cause batches to be rejected, even if the product itself meets quality standards. So overall, many batch failures are system-driven, but largely preventable. We can reduce their occurrence significantly by gaining better process understanding, strictly following good manufacturing practices, implementing real-time monitoring, and adopting risk-based quality systems. By focusing on these areas, we can enhance product quality, minimize failures, and ensure a more reliable manufacturing process that ultimately benefits both the company and the patients we serve. In conclusion, it's important to understand that batch failures are primarily system-driven, rather than just random occurrences. Most of these failures stem from factors like process variability, human error, and poor system control. These are the key areas where things can go wrong, and addressing them is crucial for improving overall quality. Looking ahead, our approach is shifting towards predictive quality, which means using data and analytics to foresee issues before they happen. We're also leveraging AI-driven monitoring to keep a close eye on manufacturing processes in real time, allowing for quicker responses. Finally, adopting a risk-based manufacturing mindset helps us prioritize resources and efforts where they are needed most. By focusing on these strategies, we can move toward more reliable, efficient, and high-quality production systems, aligning with our overall goal of continuous improvement. For further support, please don't hesitate to contact us. We're here to help you with any questions or additional information you might need. Just reach out, and we'll be glad to assist you. Thank you very much for your time and attention today.